Hey, hello everybody. This is Old Buck Dell.
Along with Old Buck Dave.
Yeah, two old bucks are sitting around talking again. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing okay, all things considered. Last episode was a tough episode to do, but I think it was kind of a change of pace for us. Pleasantly surprised by the outpouring of responses that we got in so many different ways.
Hmm.
I should note that we're recording this on March 7th, 2022. Obviously, you listen to a podcast. It's not going to be breaking news. It's going to be, some of our stuff gets recorded a month in advance, or at least it used to when we were more efficient. But anyway, I'd like to follow up on our Ukraine story with a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the people who took the time to send in donations. Several of you contacted us, said, "Hey, Bucks, I contributed to this organization or that," or more than one. And it really does make a difference, I think, to the Ukrainian victims of the tragedy. We got letters about Ukrainian ancestors, some of whom were victims of pogroms. We got all kind of stories came out. We keep going through these same sufferings time after time. Anyway, I think something like what 1.5 million people are left so far. I think
Yeah,
I think that's like I think that's almost 5% of the population. Probably a lot more are going to leave before this is over.
I mean, and those folks have been scattered. What, 7 years before that, they scattered a million
Oh yeah,
or around the world. I mean,
yeah,
what a kind of a beat up population. I really feel bad for them.
yeah,
And this time it's on my watch.
yeah, yeah. Who would have thunk it, huh? You just wonder where all these people are going to go. I mean, the good news is that several countries have opened their borders for temporary refugees, and let's hope that's enough. Got a note from a loyal listener in Canada who pointed out something I didn't know. Do you know that there are more Ukrainians in Canada than there are in the USA? Isn't that something? Canada's got
I
Canada's
believe that.
got Canada's got 1/10 of our population. They've got 1.4 million Ukrainians living there versus a million in the U.S.
Interesting.
They've had a long history of welcoming immigrants and refugees. When I thought about it, I have relatives that I had visited in the past in Quebec and Ontario. So we do have some Ukrainians that in the family that settled up north there in the Great White North.
Well, thinking about this, and I tell you, it hasn't been far from my thoughts since last we talked that I just don't think this is going to end well. It's not like, okay, everybody's going to calm down. We're going to go back to the buildings or be able to drift back into Ukraine and to what? And
Yeah, we don't. I mean, you can what if this thing. There are several ways this can end. Some of them
well,
worse
I'm not.
than some of them worse than others, but I can't see any happy endings. That's for
I
sure.
don't. Yeah, I'm really. There's a couple of players that are supporting this in the world, and they have their own ambitions, and they're all heavily armed, and I just got a bad feeling about the whole thing. I don't know. It's troubling me.
Yeah. Well, again, we can only do what we can do. We can't partake in the fighting, but we can
Mhm.
certainly support the people there with our donations and other things, and open borders to take care of the refugees. Now, the U.S. is yet to open its borders to the refugees, but it has extended visas for Ukrainians living in the U.S. So that's a little step. Yeah.
Well, I imagine. I mean, we can't help but follow this, and occasionally when we meet, you can apprise me of the stuff you ran into, and can always ascertain. I guess the word is the situation on the ground that day. It's
Yeah.
about all we can do.
Yeah, well, I can give you a quick update on a couple personal developments that we've talked
All
about.
right.
I had mentioned the woman who went to Poland to find her sister and her sister's daughters who were fleeing the country for Poland. They did get to. It wasn't as simple as we had hoped it would be, but they did hook up, got together. Uliana, who's the Ukrainian woman living in the U.S., got her sister into a 1-month rental in Warsaw, Poland. So that's a good thing. But it's a 1-month rental right now. If her sister can't go back to Ukraine, she said she'll either try to stay in Poland, Germany, or Canada. So,
Well, I have a comment on that too.
Please do.
There's a Polish lady that I know, and she's about our age, and she was just she tried to tell me what it was like when she was trying to look for a better life. That's the way she put it, and she knew firsthand the problems at the borders, and she knew firsthand of the camps or whatever, and she just broke into tears. She just straight away broke into tears because she knew what all these folks were going through over there.
Yeah.
And everything. So
yeah.
So I met somebody who had personal experience, and I think unless you have a personal experience with something like this, with the guards and the guns and the pushing and the all the deprivation of foods or whatever, it's hard to imagine just how tough all this is for these folks, and unnecessarily so. Absolutely no reason in my mind this had to happen.
Oh, let me pass something else along. I heard from a Russian listener who said the Russian people are very scared. Now he was more graphic than saying very scared. He was, if you know what I mean. He said, they don't know what news to believe. There's so much propaganda being pumped out. He's an IT guy, so he's pretty savvy. He still can pretty much get access to Western news sources, but he says a lot of people don't do that. But interestingly, he says that, the Putin's propaganda system isn't really staffed to sort and censor every news story. But his concern is the criminals in charge may decide to just block the internet in its entirety here. So there. This is a quote from one of his letters here. These are his words. He said, "Anyway, if I'm going to be arrested, for me, it's a way to a free world as a fugitive of some sort. Your support from people of the world, that's important. Thank you." So that's from a Russian person. The Russian people are not the enemy here.
This is a regular guy on the ground there.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. Hey, got any lighter news?
A little bit lighter, yeah. I got some correspondence from my friend Rosie in Scotland. She sent me a video. She sent me a link to a video. You remember the old Cat Stevens song "Peace Train"?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, she sent it's that song sung by kind of an international collection of singers in serial order. It's nice. It was kind of a nice thing to listen to. It was hopeful. So I'll put a link to that in the liner notes. She also sent me. She's a very artistic person. She sent me two of her, I call them poetic interpretations. She worked this out with another artist friend. Now this other person created these short silent video clips, and Rosie would interpret this. She would watch the silent clip and interpret it, and her interpretations were she wrote short poems, and I'll put a link to that. One of her works is entitled Blue, and the other is Infinitude. Blue is like only a minute long, and Infinitude's under 30 seconds, so they're very short, but really very well done. You have this short video going on, and you have in Rosie, actually it's her voice reading the poem that she wrote, and her handwriting appears on the screen. So it's pretty clever. There
was a slight chuckle in my head that you have quite a gamut of friends, because I'm thinking me who can't really spell, and Rosie who can actually write poetry. So you get to touch all the bases there.
I met her 25, 30 years ago, and she's Scottish. Her husband is from Cleveland area. Yeah, both really, really bright people living in Scotland. We almost got to visit her over there in 2020. And, we had reservations, trip to Edinburgh planned, and of course, you know what happened in 2020.
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
tried to forget the whole year, but there were people trying to do things in 2020
yeah,
and it got
yeah.
slowed down. So, well,
But
all the best
anyway,
to Rosie.
yeah,
All the
yeah.
best to Rosie.
So I think we'll put a link to this, and they're so short and they're so well done. I think you ought to be everybody can fit these into their schedule for the day. Okay, so there are other artists did contributions as well, and I got hooked and I watched all of them. So they're pretty slick.
Well, it just occurred to me that I mean, the old bucks directly may not be that entertaining or, we are accused of people falling asleep,
Yeah.
but you do link to a lot of stuff. So if they did hook up and looked at those things, they could then broaden their own horizons. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'll check some
the
of those
guys in
things
the
out myself.
production staff, a lot of times tell me, they say, Dave, the links that we're putting out for you guys are probably a lot better than the show itself. And you
So
can't argue with that. You
we're
can't
a
argue.
vehicle for a greater
Yeah,
world than what
yeah,
my limitations are. I agree.
yeah.
So
Well, listen, I think maybe let's de-stress a little bit more.
yeah,
You wanted to brag on your dentist some more? Like, I mean, who'd have thought that a trip to the dentist would be a de-stressor? Come on.
you
But anyway,
found
tell
you
me, tell me,
found
tell me more. Tell me
yeah,
more.
you found that to be quite amusing when I started to unload that on you the other day.
Yeah.
Uh, well, what it amounts to is dentists. I would say are probably not picked at random, and mostly it's by referral. And when you hooked up with one, they tend to know you. They have your files, and I would say you stick with them through thick and thin. You know what I mean? Uh, some
Thick and
days you're
thin.
happy with the work and wasn't painful. Other days it's both painful and costly. You know what I mean? I don't know why they do it, but people do it. You don't change them very often. But I was in a circumstance where my dentist sold the practice to somebody else, and I went there thinking I would get similar service, and I didn't. And so I began to search for a dentist, and I had certain criteria that I used. Should be reasonably small because I don't like these factories, the dental factories.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
and sometimes when they advertise same day service, it's it enormous cost.
Yeah. You walk in and you see all this artwork on the wall. You're like, oh, okay, I think I know who's going to pay for this artwork.
Well, true. So I managed to pick a small, I would say, 4-person office. That's all the people I've seen so far, and it is in a very small building with a few other small dentists. I did that by a picture and a little flyer. I said, for some reason this looks like it could be something I'd explore. So I checked it out, and I call it the price of buying in. So I went to them and I said, "What is it going to cost me to buy in?" And they said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You I just can't come in here and tell you I have a dental problem. You have to pay. You have to get X-rays. You have to do this, and so on and so forth."
Yeah.
So there's a cost to getting in the door. And they said, "Well, we have a special on that." I said, "Okay, I'll take it."
Doesn't everybody?
Well, I was going to get, if I
Yeah.
had to, I would have get 20 sets of X-rays until I found someone I liked. I mean, it was cheaper than going in under
Yeah.
emergency.
Yeah.
So I did go through that, and it was very nice. They did an excellent job of X-raying my teeth. That big metal thing they stick in your mouth and everything and all this stuff. So I'm talking, and then the dentist came in, and of course, I have a difficult time keeping my mouth shut in the dental office.
Only in the dental office?
Yeah, and it's not.
I'm sorry.
It's not like they're not prying it apart.
That was a softball.
I'm asking questions and telling stories, and they're trying to prop my mouth open to look inside and everything. So
You're being an old buck.
yeah, and I'm testing them and I'm warning them that this is a test. So let's do a good job. So the girl did a fantastic job with the X-rays, and then the dentist came in and he looked around. He said, yeah. I said, well, you see, there's a lot of plastic and metal in there. And I said, there's probably a couple $1,000s left for you. So he laughed, and he had a great sense of humor. So bottom line is, I do have a dental plan. You know, I was given a dental plan, and they recommended a tooth cleaning. So I said, I usually wait till the tooth is causing a problem before I go in. So I said, okay, I'll throw them a couple bucks, and I got a
Preventive
decent.
dentistry, huh?
Yeah, I went in and got a decent tooth cleaning, which I don't enjoy at all. But the lady was very, 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 very gentle, and she talked in a nice voice and explained what was doing. And again, I'm after a while, I said, "Hey, I got to go to the bathroom," and I get up.
Oh
She
gosh.
says, "Okay, go ahead." So I get up, put my hat on, ready to walk out the door. She says, "No, no, no, I'm not finished." Oh, I said, put all my stuff back down, sat down again, and so she finished up.
You're a tough
So that,
patient.
yeah. Well, this is good. That's why I have to have the right
It's
dentist.
all part of the test, huh?
So I really, really like these guys.
Oh, good.
This fellow is originally
All right.
from Ohio.
All right,
And
give him a free plug here. I mean,
yeah,
people should know. People should know that we're getting no financial
there's no
reimbursement
benefit
for this stuff. This is
I don't
just
even
out of
think
love. You're doing this out of love.
true. I don't think that he
Okay.
even knows we have a podcast or nothing. But this is when we were in Sarasota, and it all started down there. And it's called Buckeye Dental. Buckeye as Ohio Buckeyes, I assume. So it's Buckeye Dental.
Mm-hmm.
And I would highly recommend it to somebody who's sort of
Who's
anti-dental.
passing through town and needs a dentist.
Yeah, you remember that he was the anti-dentist.
Oh gosh.
So anyhow, I'm quite a ways from there, but I do have some work to do, and I'm prepared to drive some distance to have it done there because
Mhm.
it was fun. I think he has to charge a fair price for it, but anything over $100 to me in dental work seems to be overcharging. You can't get by with without less than $1,000 or $2,000. But all in all, he was a super dentist, and he is located in Sarasota, Florida, and it's called Buckeye Dental. And if somebody looking for a nice gentle dentist, I'd say check them out. Go pay the price to enter, get your X-rays and stuff, and if you like them, there you go. So that's my dental story.
All right. You better send him a copy of this podcast.
Hopefully someone will
I guess-
stop and say, I heard the old Buck's talking
Yeah.
about you. Yeah, we'll see.
That kind of reminds me of a dental story. I had a kind of an interesting dental story. We were in Cabo San Lucas, a family vacation over Christmas, New Year's. It was the year that they had the big tsunami over in Malaysia, was it?
Geez.
So that was kind of scary. But anyway, my son, who was, I think he was out of college. He was working in LA at the time. He came down and met us. And he broke a tooth while we were there. Like, oh man, what do we do? And it was kind of painful. It was all exposed there. And so I'm looking around, and somebody said, oh yeah, there's a dentist. There's an office. Go down this street and go up here. So I found the office, closed, but there was a couple phone numbers there, and one of them turned out to be his home phone number. Now this would have been Sunday, okay? Yeah, it was Sunday. And so I called the number, the guy answers, and I explained the situation. He says, come in the office first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll take care of it. And so we did. Waiting room is full. Met a couple there who sailed their boat, their yacht, whatever it was, their sailboat, down from Seattle. He's their dentist, okay? This guy's like your dentist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
People come from miles around to go to this guy. It's amazing, all right? And so he fixed my son's broken tooth. He did X-rays. He did a tooth cleaning. It was $75 out the door. Unbelievable. So
Well, there's a monumental
excellent
day you'll
guy.
never see
Yeah.
again. Yeah. Hey, Dave, I was just thinking too when you mentioned that. Remember the time? I know I was complaining about. It was something to do with dental work, and I was complaining about I had to get some work done and so on and so forth. And we were downtown having coffee, and I think we were going to have a sandwich or something. And you ordered a burger. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
and you started eating, and you had this funny look on your face,
Yeah.
and you're moving your jaw around and everything. What's the matter? He said, I think I just broke a tooth.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did.
And I started laughing because we were just talking about that. And
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for
and you
reminding
brought
me
that.
of that.
Yeah, I think, and a while later, you guys said,
That was
I
the
kept saying, "Did you get that
$1,500
fixed?
burger.
Yeah, did you get that fixed? You get that fixed?" He said, "Finally got it fixed." So,
Yeah.
anyhow, enough of these
Enough.
stories.
Enough. Then. Yeah. I mean, people are leaving us in droves here at this point. Talking about you. You had a dog story that you were starting to tell me the other day. Is that
But
something
oh, that
that
was
you're allowed to
based
tell
on.
on the air? Or?
Yeah, I'm allowed to tell a story, but that was based on, trying to get to a solution. You ever
Okay.
been in those circumstances where you got a bunch
Trying
of
to
people?
solve a problem.
Well, you're trying to get to a solution or something, and everybody's bringing up all these hypothetical situations and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? You know that. Well, okay. The background was we were in a test. We was in a psychological exam with a
Okay.
bunch of people,
Was this?
and
Was this? Are we allowed to say CIA here? Or
no, that wasn't the
no?
CIA.
Oh, okay.
I quit
Okay.
working for those guys a long time ago.
Wink,
I
wink. All
got, I
right.
got, I got the watch in the cup, and I'm done.
You're done. Okay.
So anyhow, it was a psychological exam, and there was a bunch of people, and there was 4 people at a table, and they proposed the conundrum of the island with a goose, grain, dog, and fox. Right? You know that combination,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're right.
How do you get everybody from one side to the other, kind of
How
thing?
do you get everybody from one side to the other? So they give the assignment, they set the parameters, and everybody is starting to talk, and then the room is starting to get really, really loud. So my group, they were pretty clever people there, so they had lots and lots of scenarios, but we didn't get to the point where we were able to do that. You know what I mean? There's always some animal on the island.
Oh, okay. You could never get
Yeah, we
everybody
never quite
across
made the right combination. We
because
could get the goose over.
the fox
with
would eat the goose if they went together, kind of thing. Yeah. Yep.
So this is going on and on and on and on. And so I said, well, what's the object? The object is to win the game, right? We're in competition with all these other people in this room. I said, let's
Okay.
win the game.
Okay.
And they say, well, how are you going to do that? And I said, just kill the dog.
Oh man.
So they
We
go,
got-
what? What? I said, yeah. I said, we just move everything else over there. We jump on a boat, we go near the island, we raise our hand, we say, we're done. And they say, well, what was your solution? And we say, we left the dog on the island. We killed the dog.
Killed the dog. Left it on
So
the island.
sometimes,
That's kind of uplifting.
You just got to kill the dog to get this thing over with.
Boy,
So
oh boy.
we actually stopped the whole episode after that. Once we raised our hand and said, kill the dog, the place went into
That was
hysteria.
That was
Yeah, they
it.
went into hysterical laughter. And we said, well, we won. So
You won.
time for
Okay.
lunch. And
Oh boy.
that's my dog story.
That's your dog story. That's not
That's
what I was
true, too.
expecting, but I believe it.
Well, it wasn't an actual dog, but you know what I
Well,
mean.
it wasn't. It was a virtual. Yeah, right. This
I
was a
wasn't being
story. It was a
yeah.
story. Okay, all right. So how's that book coming?
The one you gave me,
Yeah, finally got
the transatlantic.
transatlantic. Yeah.
Well,
I hope you like it as much as I did.
I'm reading it judiciously because I usually read those at night to fall asleep. So I'm probably 40, 50 pages into it. It's well written. I got to give you credit. It's well written.
Yeah.
And what a perspective. Yeah. I was when the first part of the book where I was in the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was holding on.
Oh yeah.
I was holding on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'll let you know. I'll keep you
That's-
abreast of that. But I think it's going to be a good story. Recommend it.
I think you're going to enjoy it. Yeah.
You know, when that
So
was published,
you read that to fall asleep at night, huh?
I'll just take my mind.
I just listen to Buck reruns to fall asleep now,
Well,
like everybody else, apparently.
I listened to the old books in the day, so I could call you. When was that? I think that was published in 2013.
13, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's so. It's not like it's not available.
Yeah,
Probably around
great
used
book.
bookstore.
Yeah. Transatlantic, Colin McCann. I started reading a new book too. It's called. I've got it right here in front of me. It's called Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. Finally got to see a cardiologist for the heart issues that I talked about some time ago. And the first thing he did, he said, "You got to buy this book." It's, again, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Caldwell Esselstyn. This talks about a diet here. This diet makes the Mediterranean diet look like gluttony. I'm telling you, this is going to be an interesting challenge. But,
Wait a minute, you're talking about a serious book here.
I'm talking about a serious
book.
book.
There's no detective in here or something. No, this is a serious endeavor. But your diet's, you hardly eat anything anyhow.
Yeah, tell me about it. Listen to this diet: no fish, no avocados, no olive oil, all the stuff that I love. I mean, Jesus.
I just ate an avocado sandwich a few minutes ago. Oh my!
Yeah, it's apparently works, but we'll see. But anyway,
clearly it says no cigars.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Anyhow, it's not your temptation. Yeah. That's not your cause du jour.
So as I get on with this, we'll get more. I got a bunch of some heart tests this month. So we'll see what's going on there. See what I can share from that as an educational experience for our 2 or 3 listeners. Hey, I got some good news.
Yeah,
some good news. I sold a bike. It's kind of good news, bad news, really. But you've seen my pretty red CoMotion touring bike.
I have seen. I've admired many of your bikes.
I've had a lot of bikes,
and I'm pretty much color code. I mean, it's about the only way I can tell one from the other. But I remember you still have the gray one, your town bike.
I have the beater bike. Yeah.
Okay, beater bike.
Yeah, an old John Howard.
Okay, so you have that bike you still have. This was the red bike with the which you said came apart.
Yeah, right. The frame came apart and you could fit it in a legal airline suitcase. So I used this on several trips during my working career to get some exercise on the weekend.
You've had that a long time.
I had it a long time. Unfortunately, I didn't use it that much because I've always had so many bikes. They were all kind of special purpose bikes. I did do the D.C. to Pittsburgh on this bike. Headed off the trail.
You made that trip. That trip was like I thought you said that was like not an off-road bike. It had bigger tires on it.
This was the bike I used. I had put touring tires on it. Not mountain bike size tires, but wider than road tires. Yeah.
So it's gone.
Yeah, and it really went to a good home. I thought, I'm not going to do any loaded touring anymore, and the bike is still pristine. It's beautiful. I had an extra fork and an extra front wheel, and I'd put a disc brake on it, and da-da-da-da. So it ended up, I have a set of panniers and a rack and fenders and all that sort of thing, and that ended up getting thrown in on the deal here because the more I thought about it, it's like, well, if I sell the bike and I say I'm not going to do loaded touring anymore, why am I going to keep this stuff? So anyway, it went to a good home. This is a interesting, nice guy. He's on a 1-year RV trip around the country.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
And this bike's a serious upgrade from the one he was using. And it's amazing. He just happened to be passing through the area and saw my ad on Craigslist, and rest is history. We must have swapped 30 or 40 pictures and text messages, phone calls, and finally he says, "I'm coming down to look at it." So that, and he already had a bike Friday, which is kind of a folding bike, but he wanted something more substantial. And went to a nice middle-aged buck Randy. Hey, listen to the other amazing thing is, so he had a dog and a woman in the truck with him, and I said, "Oh, you brought a friend?" And he said, "Well, no, she's really the love of my life." And so started talking to her while Randy was out test riding the bike. She grew up mostly in Ulm, Germany, it's about 30 miles from where my wife lived as a child. And interesting, she was Romanian. Her family had fled Romania during the Ceausescu regime. So that's a familiar theme that we hear, duplicated by millions of people today. Interesting, isn't it?
Oh, how about
So
that for a small world?
it went to the right home at the right time. So
Well, you would probably eventually you're going to have to take all those little bits and pieces and actually tag each one of them to what they might have fit.
uh,
So
yeah,
whoever inherits all that stuff might have some clue where
yeah.
all that stuff would go.
Yeah, I looked
So
in my shelves. I thought, boy, I probably got enough to put another bike together here. So, or two or three, I don't know. Anyway, that's my bike story. The co-motion went to a good home.
oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
fun. You enjoy that.
And speaking of going home,
Time to go.
I think we're probably used up for today. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
think. All right. Well, old buddy, and all the old Buck listeners out there, this is old Buck Dell saying goodbye.
and this is Dave right behind him saying goodbye. Again, long live Ukraine, folks. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.